Okay, when doing a compare and contrast writing assignment, you need to figure out how you're going to organize your ideas. And so today what we're going to do is go through a variety of options for you, or methods for organizing ideas in a compare and contrast written assignment. So using the example of a beach vacation versus a snow vacation, I'm going to go through 3 different methods for organizing ideas. Remember last week you completed a great brainstorming chart with the 2 subjects that you chose to compare. The example we used was beach versus ski. And so we have all of our categories completed, and then we've added in some sentences of contrast under each category and 1 sentence of compare under each of the categories for our similarities. So we have the bulk of the work done. Now how do we organize these ideas into a paragraph? Well, you can do point by point or category by category based on the chart. Then another option would be subject by subject. Subject A versus subject B. Or you can do similarities versus differences, or differences followed by similarities. So those are the 3 methods we're going to talk about today. The first one is the point by point, category by category. You'll state a point, follow it with details and elaboration, state your next point, follow it with details and elaboration. So if you go with the example we used, you would look at it this way: weather at the beach, weather at the mountains. Activities at the beach, activities in the mountains. Gear in the beach, gear in the mountains, and then you'd go into the points you made that were similarities: motivation, protection, and travel. And that would round out your paragraph where you are contrasting and comparing beach versus snow. This is what it might look like if you had an outline before you started writing. Let me show you just a basic outline with our points from our chart. We've put weather here because that is our first point, and then we've added in the sentences from our chart. Now you can't simply do that. You have to put it into paragraph form, and so what you need to think about is how am I going to combine these sentences? So one method is to add transition words between the sentences, especially when you're moving from your point about the weather in the mountains versus the weather in the beach. So let me show you an example of what that might look like. So we start with a sentence that introduces this point. The weather is one of the clearest differences between a beach vacation and a ski vacation. It's like a little mini topic sentence introducing this point. Then we add in our sentences from our first category about the beach, when choosing to go on a beach vacation, and so on all the way down to this point. Now I add a transition word in. However, if a ski vacation is on your horizon, you should plan for fresh snowfall and temperatures in the 30s. So I'm showing that contrast between the weather on the beach versus the weather on a ski vacation. Next, we would move on to our next point, which was, I think, activities. And we'd write in our sentences dealing with the activities, and then the gear. And then we'd move into our points where we had motivation for going, protection, and travel. Okay, method 2 is subject by subject. With subject by subject, you start with your topic sentence, where you introduce the whole method of the fact that you're comparing and contrasting 2 things. Then you discuss one subject in its entirety. In our example, a beach vacation. You'd write about all of the categories. Then you would talk about the ski vacation, and you would write about all of the same categories, only in reference to the ski vacation, and then end with a concluding sentence. So whereas with point by point we talked about each of our points, this we talk about all about beach, then all about ski. And that's subject by subject. This is how it sort of breaks down. Talk about the beach. We've got your sentences about weather, activities, gear, motivation, protection from the elements, and then travel. Now, you may have to work with the snow and beach similarities because these are similar points. And so you will combine those two when you're doing your subject by subject. The third method is similarities and differences. So first, discuss all of the differences between the two subjects. Then discuss all of the similarities between the two subjects. This is very similar to our point-by-point method, but it's slightly different. And you now have to decide, okay, I've got these three methods for comparison and contrast. Which method makes the most sense for me with my writing assignment? Which one, when I look at my brainstorming chart, do I think would be the most logical way for me to organize my ideas? This is what the similarities and differences would look like. You would start with the contrast, weather, activities, and gear, and then compare motivation, protection, and travel. Good luck. Look forward to receiving your assignments this week.